Why did you start the art that you're doing now, or was it different?
Well, it's two different. Well, okay. Well, I think the real reason I do art is because it was kind of hard not to end up doing art because my dad was an artist.
Oh.
He drew all the time. He had a day job at like grocery stores and stuff, but occasionally he would take commission work for art, and he would his thing that I remember was during the holidays he would do window painting, so like Santa Claus and snowmen.
That's awesome.
So like that's like a real, like when I think about like the snowmen in particular were really cool for me. Like I still think of the snowmen as like a big part of like what my dad's art was, because he just had this way to do it. You go and you're painting on the window.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he painted on the outside, but because you can paint on the inside too.
Right.
Seems like that would be better, but they were not meant to be permanent because they were a holiday. But the way he did snowmen was just like 3 big blobs of white paint, and then he'd outline it.
And he'd get paid for it.
Yeah.
So,
but as far as I do what I do,
I'll be right back.
Because Hey, Evelyn.
Yeah.
It's you again.
Yes.
How you doing?
Doing good.
That's good. That's good. Look, it's you. It's
Oh, can't Annie do that?
Annie.
Yeah, she's using mine.
Hey guys.
Okay, sorry. Hi. So Evelyn, we're asking him questions. So we're gonna listen to Jared now. He's gonna talk about
Eric.
But hey, to clarify, not personal questions like the one you asked me this morning.
I'm sorry, me too.
What happened?
Teasing you.
It's art.
I was teasing you this morning.
Junia.
Yes.
Now.
I'm gonna put the grocery away. She's gonna use my tablet.
Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
What are you doing, Missy?
Well, we're gonna listen to Jared talk about his art. Okay.
Oh, I love art. I think it's pretty though.
Listen what he tell you.
Okay.
Okay, so you gotta listen because he's not.
Okay.
I'll put y'all on mute and never ever let you go. So your art inspired, or your dad inspired you to at least, like, because it was there.
Well, yeah, you kind of want to be like your parents, and you look up to your parents, and when they see, I feel like when they see something of themselves in you, it can't help but be encouraged.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I would say probably a family tradition. I kind of regret, I don't know where he got the art from, but that's the interesting thing.
Yeah, you might find out through people he knew or relatives maybe that knew him, that they could maybe tell you. I don't know.
Not a lot of family on his side that I know.
Oh. Well, you can always check it out, I'm sure.
That's brother.
Yeah. So your type of art is, what would you describe it as? The type of art that you do?
Well, now I think the simplest, like what people would call it, is lowbrow.
Okay.
And that's when you start I kind of don't like the label, but lowbrow art is where like fine art meets like cartoons, comics, graffiti, all the fun stuff that people, and it gets weird and yeah.
Yeah, I think as I grew up, I didn't see that type of art only on the walls, which basically that I thought was graffiti, which
Mhm.
now it's, of course, it's art. So bringing that back into a manageable, like, to be actually looked at as art is an amazing thing for all
Yeah.
people like you
Sure.
and Daniel.
But I still feel like I don't know. It's actually something that has bothered me in the past, where I felt like my visual like language is comics basically, and like weird creatures. Like it always kind of bothered me that, I mean, there's exceptions, and there's artists like Peter Saul and like some, you know, Philip Guston. There's like some blue chip artists that use, you know, freaky, cartoonish comic book imagery, but they've crossed over and are accepted as like, you know, like the being important somehow. But for me, I have that point, and I think that it's a hard point to reach because I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Now I'm just going on my own tangent.
You don't know if it's maybe doable in your area, or your maybe it's moved, or I don't know.
I think it is doable. I think I don't want to, doable, but it's not like, gosh, it's like a Pandora's box conversation. It's like hard for me to like even keep like, I was muted there for a second. I think it's possible. It's just if I apply myself or not, but I don't focus on that stuff anymore, you know?
Right, just do your art.
It'd be great. No, I'm gonna be Mr. Famous, Mr. Popular, and I think that, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of just icky to think that.
Yeah. And
just my biggest thing is just because it does get hard. I've done a lot of art and I have a lot accumulated, that, and there's been I've had my fair share of disappointments. It gets harder and harder for me to even do. So my new thing that I'm telling myself all the time is like, if I'm not engaged and having fun in the process, then I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watch the clients engage. Like watching Matt Crouch draw to me is like what that I want to reach, that level of just like in the zone, you know, just he's doing it because it's what he does, and it's just, it's not there's no other outside like, oh, I need an art show.
Yeah, I noticed that about him, and also Margot's like that. She will draw. I mean, I can get her to draw something that she's looked at for a minute, and you know, she'll draw her version of it. Yes, Robin.
Jared.
Yeah.
What inspired you for as an artist, as for Short Center North, and you're as an instructor there?
I came to because I wanted to learn about art. I came in for like selfish reasons. I came in because I saw something really special about the work that was being produced by the center. And I think I told you this story before, and it goes back like many years. I had lived in Sacramento while I was going to school, and I went to a cafe and I saw some art on the walls that blew my mind. Actually, I think I even went, when I was at Sac State, I visited Southside, and I went to their center, and they had some really fun, like colorful, funky, like character-based artwork on the walls.
Yeah.
Like walls, just the most fun, like I just love the way it looked, and I love the energy of it. And then I forgot about that place. And like I said, I had been to like different cafes, and I saw some artwork. I don't know, this is like 2007 or something. I don't know. but turned out that one of the artists who had the artist on the walls of this cafe was Matt Crouch. I didn't know him at the time, but I remembered his name. I remembered his artwork. It like really stuck with me. I moved to Boston. I lived there with my now ex-wife, but I lived there with her for 2 years, and I did my thing in Boston. When I came back, I knew immediately, like when I was looking for a job, I was going to get a job through John Berger, who I had met through just being an artist in Sacramento. So I called him or reached out to him. Maybe it was even over Facebook. I was like, give me a job, you know? And then he hooked me up with Short Center South. So I still hadn't met Matt Crouch, but the whole time I didn't realize I was he was in the program. So now it's come full circle. I finally met, like, in a way, like an art idol. I don't mean to, like, I know you guys get a little jealous when I talk about it, but Matt Crouch, I knew about his art like forever ago.
Yeah.
And this place is just always called to me. And I figured, like, I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of for selfish reasons. I wanted to know more about art. I wanted to make more interesting art. And I knew that if I surrounded myself with interesting people, it was going to happen naturally.
Sure. And it does. And it did.
I hope so. I don't know.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm
About it.
Robin, I still have a couple more questions. Can I finish really quick? A couple more questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever sold a piece of artwork in a gallery or in a show? And if so, how much was it?
Yes, I have. Different. I've never sold anything like for like 1,000. I think the highest I've ever sold anything was for 6. And then the gallery always takes 40% or 50%. So, but I've made more money just selling things directly to people.
Yeah, that sounds more feasible, and you could make a little bit more that way. I definitely agree.
But have the same reach that certain galleries have. Like,
yeah.
I have a gallery that I'll be showing in next month. And I feel like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if I could, this painting that I have ready to go, I'm not sure if it's, I feel like I might make more through them.
Can you show us some of your art?
Let me show you yes. Okay, here, how about this? Most of you guys have seen them. Janet, I've shown Janet. And so here's all the junk that I haven't sold. But right here, this is the one that I just finished.
Oh, wow.
But I was really proud of like the construction of it.
Oh yeah, it pops out.
Yeah, it goes off the wall, and I even went the extra mile and painted the back and
oh nice.
Put wood filler on these beams so you can't see that there's screws. It's just like, I'm proud of this one. That one's going into the gallery. And then I have these two. They had these size restrictions of what was it, 6? I can't remember if these are 16 by 20 or something. So I have a few in that size, but this is I was kind of messing around with like collage and painting and just mixed media stuff. So this is just kind of a madness, freeform madness on a.
It's awesome.
It's pretty wild, yeah. But the process is really neat and fun, and I'd love to. I've kind of like, I just figured it out, and it would be cool to share it with some of the students. But this one is the same sort of process, but sometimes I have to work black and white because I like black and white.
Yeah.
And then, but this has a little bit of like, I don't know, for some reason it didn't come out right, but I took a picture of some like big rocks over by my mom's like apartment. I sit on by the water, but yeah, but you can't see them. They're just kind of gray and washed out. But this one might not be done. I might want to throw some I know it seems very done because it's like completely filled in, but I've been like thinking about doing more to it. But yeah, I have lots of junk in here.
It's art. It's art. It's art.
And then I have this thing, which it might end up being another cutout. It's like a weird demon cat. And this time I was thinking I would hollow out the eyeballs, like actually jigsaw out the eyeballs, so that it was kind of like a mask. Because Val has masks in the house, and I just think they're someone came over and she was like, these are scary. and I was like, really? Because it's just funny because it doesn't cross my, I guess they kind of are to some people, but to me, like, they're just neat.
Yeah.
But then I got to thinking about it. I was like, well, what if, because some of them came from like Mexico. What if they have like some sort of a spiritual thing going on that I'm not aware of, and
yeah,
it's just like living with me.
And somebody's picking up on that.
Yeah, maybe.
So, when COVID started and you started doing more art, or maybe you didn't do more art, did you do more art? And if you did it change?
I feel like I mostly did less art. And it didn't change. It like, you know, I feel like people come over and they see my artwork and they think it all looks the same, but to me it's all like, I got lots of different types of things and different approaches that I take when I make stuff. So for me, it's like always changing. There's constants. I like eyeballs and certain things that'll, you know, I like boxing. I'm a boxing fan, so that's why there's boxing themes that pop up.
Right.
You know, and that was something that I took from working at Short Center South. Is there was a student who he was just drawing like cool fighters, like muscle men, like just all lined up, and it was like really cool. Like sometimes you draw like wrestlers, and I was like, you know what am I doing, like wasting my time like not drawing the things that I like? And I thought, hey, wait a minute, boxing is interesting and I like that, and I could totally see like cartoon characters with big shiny, you know, the gloves are kind of fun to look at. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I see when people talk about their art, you don't think, you know, what are they thinking? Or if you go to a gallery, sometimes I'll wonder, you know, but it's nice to be able to hear what someone goes through the process. And, you know, having a passion, or you like boxing, you know, that's absolutely what we do. We put it in our art.
Well, and you can I think you can take anything, any like anything, and then filter it into like your personal experience. And like, if you want there to be some kind of narrative to your work, you can use anything to communicate that. I mean, like, boxing there's so much there that is relatable to us in our everyday lives, you know, and you know, the fight with ourselves, each other, this and that, you know, there's just so many different ways to use that image.
That's very interesting. Yeah. Did you learn a different technique while you were doing the lockdown in COVID?
Oh yeah, the collage thing. I started messing with collage a bit more, and I think there's still a lot to learn, but I'm figuring out what doesn't work. I think that's kind of what happens.
I really like that part, the one that you show. Well, I like them all, but the one that has all
this
of
colorful
stuff.
one.
Yeah, I like both of them. I like the black and white one because it gives you a lot to think about, and there's so much going on there. that you can sit there and look at it and not see everything at once. You know, you
Right.
look
Yeah.
at bits and pieces, and that's one of the things I really like about different artwork like yours. You know, you can see different things. Like Val's
There's a
art.
lot to look at here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of his stuff is in here too, but I don't know if he showed you. Yeah.
So, I have a weird question. What would you like to do? Like if you wanted to learn something new right now, because we have so much time on our hands, I think a lot of people do, or just, you know, being at home, what would you like to learn? Anything. It could be scuba diving. It could be, you know, snorkeling. It could be, or a different type of painting or a different media.
Well, the first thing it's not that I haven't done it before, but I want to get better at spray painting. I want to spend days just with spray paint and figuring out how the tips work, because there's a lot to it, and I think you unlock a lot of opportunity as like a muralist if you can. If I was comfortable with spray paint, I would just, it would just give me so much. It would be so good for me. I'm okay with it, but I feel like I need to do a lot more practicing.
It would broaden your horizons for
absolutely.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
yeah, because I mean it helped me travel to Thailand that one time.
That's right. I do remember that.
Yeah. And I wasn't super. I didn't know. I faked it the whole. Every time. The thing is, every time I use spray paint, it comes out fine. But I feel like an imposter as a spray painter.
You shouldn't feel that way, though. Really, it's like people who have reference photos, who copy things. You know, even Matt Crouch. He has a reference photo. It doesn't look exactly like that, but you're creating your artwork through something that you're trying, but you don't know it completely.
Yeah.
You know, so I think you're doing what you need.
I'm just being critical of myself because I don't have much experience with it, and I feel that I need more, you know, especially like I did that mural in Arbuckle too. And I did that all spray paint, and it was just like, ooh, you know, like if I just feel like I need more experience.
Which one is that? The one in Arbuckle?
It's like there's like a red car and like giant food items on the horizon, and it's kind of just, it's at a gas station.
Is it the one when you first come off the freeway? Because I lived in Arbuckle.
Yeah, it's right off the freeway.
Yeah, the one on the right.
It's pink and blue, and there's a car in it.
Yeah. I'll have to, when I go visit my friends there, I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, it's a gas station called Shift Change.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know if there's actually a sign, but.
Well, there's only a few miles of Arbuckle, so I'm sure I can find it. there might only be like, I don't know if there's even another gas station. There's well, when I lived there was 3 gas stations. There was one when you come off the freeway from Sacramento, and then there was one under the freeway on the other side, and then there was one at the other end of Arbuckle of the area. So it was more going towards Williams.
This one is really close to the freeway from what I remember. And then there was like a like a little general store across the way.
Right.
Well, it was hardly little. There's a lot of stuff in there. Groceries and just kind of stuff. But yeah.
Stuff.
What would I compare it to? Almost like a Big Lots situation.
Oh, right. Yeah. Kind of like a 5 and dime thing that I remember when I moved there in the early 80s. is they had a Five and Dime. It was a huge store, and it was all dusty inside, and it's typical old school kind of thing. So,
Sounds neat.
do you work with your art daily?
Not really. No. I mean, maybe a little. Not well. I mean, like every day I'll do at least a little bit of doodling because of school.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. I take breaks. I can't do it all the time. I play a lot of video games. To be honest, I play a lot of video games, but I see that as like research and development.
Sure, ideas, absolutely. I mean,
yeah, it's a lot of bright colors, and they're an art form also.
Yeah, I like it when people.
My excuse.
Everybody that I know that has art that's like bold and more colorful. I always want to go that way, and I haven't. I need somebody to interview me, but that'll be later.
You could do a role reversal in your own class if you could.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have somebody else ask me questions.
Yeah.
Right. That's
okay. Let me ask you this then, Virginia.
Okay.
What inspired you when you were working over in E+ and then you came over to Short Center North?
That's not about Jared.
No,
you should definitely maybe you should do a role reversal.
Maybe I'll have John interview me on Friday. One time, or somebody else.
With all your art that you have there, Jared,
in here,
I think it's wonderful that you have an art gallery that you can go to and that you can instruct how you want it in a special way.
It's pretty great that I have this situation.
Yeah.
I'm extremely lucky. That's a big thing for me lately. Just gratitude every day, because things aren't perfect, but I'm definitely trying to be grateful for what I have every day, because I think that's the way to cope with what's going on in the world. It's pretty wild. So
have you had an art opening there?
No.
That place where you at with Val?
No, that was talked about at first, and it never happened. And now it's definitely not going to happen until we're not in a pandemic.
Well, I'm looking at it this way. I'm trying to get something together for some place where I go visit in the summertime, and they have all these different cabins, and everybody comes at different times, and they have activities that they do once every other week. And I thought about this, and this could work the way that you're talking. Having it come in and having a continual line around the area where they can come in and look, and slowly. I'm sure you'd be able to work it out.
Yeah.
Having people come in at different times.
All honest though, I'm not even good at having like one or two guests here. I had that happen, and it was, it's just. It's a weird thing. I don't know how to. I don't know that I could do that with the line. I don't know if people would really like that too much. I don't know.
Well, you would have to, maybe possibly have somebody that's not connected with you and just say, we're trying to make it as accessible as we can while COVID's still going on. But if it's not going to work, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, you know what galleries do? It's like any gallery right now. The one that I'll be showing at next month. It's by appointment only. It's the same, it's because realistically it's better when you can just have when it's like a ton of people viewing art, I think of that as like, I'm almost relieved that that isn't a thing sometimes, because it's like, what do people do when they go to these openings? They they try to look at art, but they really can't, because it's either too crowded, and there's usually free alcohol, so everybody's doing that. So it's like impossible to even really view the artwork. And I remember, that guy Danny Scheibel,
Yeah.
or of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember one time, he said to me a long time ago, I really don't talk to him now. Heard some things about him that aren't cool, but yeah, he was like, yeah, it's because I was kind of like whining about how the art show scenario was weird for me. I didn't know if I really liked it. I have a lot of social anxiety, blah blah blah. And he's like, and I was like, yeah, I wish people would actually like look at the art at these things. And then he just put it bluntly. It's like, well, that's not what this is for. And in my head, I was like, it's so counterintuitive, but he's totally right. That's not why people go to those big art shows. It's to be seen and to party.
Right.
And
right.
There's art, you can look at it, but
I think you have to be discerning with, like, I go to art gatherings because I want to meet the artist and talk to the artist, which I have done in the past, but I definitely understand what you're talking about. And you don't get to talk to the artist if there's too many people.
Right.
So,
and maybe it's just a certain type of art scene that I've gotten mixed in, where it's just, especially if you show in the same town a lot, you see the same faces, you hang some art, you say hey to your bros, you share some drinks, and you go home. And if you sold something, that's cool, but you probably didn't.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. There's that's like, it's almost like a social, I can't complain about it. It's like it's been my social outlet.
Right.
But
well, and if you, like you say, if you have anxieties, then if you're around art which is comfortable and people who are artists that comfortable, that's a big thing. That's that's your social gathering. And I think that's important for artists, and also not necessarily to get ideas, but it helps to get ideas.
Right. Yeah.
Something that somebody else has done and go, I'd like to do that. What was your process? And they either will tell you or they'll say, oh, it's a hidden secret. I don't know.
You know what else too? The thing that I'm not trying to, I feel like I'm saying I'm being negative about art shows, but I'm not. I wish, I do miss them though, because you also just like being physically like in front of a painting is totally different from what we get now, which is just looking at our screen. It's really interesting. Have you ever like gone to a show of an artist that you really admired, put your nose up to their painting, or just like got close enough to see that it wasn't perfect?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's great.
And I think for me, going to a big gallery like the De Young Museum, I went there and I saw some older paintings, of course, Singer Sargent, who I used to be like totally enamored with, and I still am. And
he's pretty great, right?
Yeah,
he does like watercolors.
He does. No? Yeah, he does a lot of stuff. But when I looked up close, like you said, close, and all of it, it was just layers of color. It wasn't strokes. Like it was like the old artists with their little dots that made a picture. And I commend those kind of people, because I can't take that much time doing little dots. Or
that's kind of how I am with my I like to cross hatch. It's like my thing. I just zone out. It's just, I don't know why. It's kind of funny that that's like such an important part of like my art, but I would honestly just practice that. It seems weird. I'm glad I did it looking back, but like sometimes I would just in the corner of my pages at school, I wouldn't draw anything. I would just go hatch, 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 just like practicing getting the rhythm down and getting it comfortable.
Right, because isn't that part of what you use to like do shading and the texture to make it have a texture?
Yeah. Well, just lines. Here's something weird I did in a class. There's no just the just drawing the lines and getting them to the spacing to be I don't know.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I don't know. I've just been trying to figure out.
I was gonna say I really like that.
Nothing.
Robin?
I really like that picture that you just shown.
Thanks.
And
Pink.
Not only that, but I think you're a really great artist. No matter what you say or do, I would want you to be a good artist.
Oh, thanks, Robin.
He is a good artist. Well, I'm gonna say goodbye because I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to talk about. But I do have this on a record, so I'm thinking of putting them all at the end of the year on a YouTube somehow.
Oh, interesting. Hopefully, I didn't say anything silly.
I'm gonna work on editing different bits and pieces, but I'm not worried about the F-bomb or anything like that. But I wish we weren't
as worried about that. I'd be cussing so much.
Well,
I'm such a cusser.
I know.
But I have to play nice around you guys all the time. No, I'm not that bad.
No, you're not. All right. Well,
it's very good, and I can say this for Virginia and I.
Well, I don't know. I had my own voice.
But anyway,